Okay, good morning, everyone. We are on Tes Vav Amud Beis. Welcome to all those that are visiting us from out of town. Debei Rabbi Shmuel Tana, bottom of Tes Vav Amud Beis. Is Asya b'kal v'chomer mibal mum. How do you know that a zar who does the avoda is going to ruin it? We have a kal v'chomer from a bal mum, a person who does the avoda when they have a mum. Ma bal mum she'ochel. That person does the avoda with a bal mum. Even if he eats, it's going to be kosher, but nevertheless, im avad chilel, he can't do the avoda. So kal v'chomer zar she'eino ochel, a zar who can eat, for sure, if he does the avoda, it's going to be a problem. Eino din she'im avad chilel. Says Gemara, mal bal mum she'kein asab you can't compare a Baal Mum. Maybe the reason that a Baal Mum im avar chilel is because at the end of the day a Baal Mum is more machmir, because a Baal Mum we see it's a psul in the korban itself. The korban, if it's a Baal Mum, is pasul. Therefore the person who brings the korban as a Baal Mum will be pasul. But there's no such thing as a zar korban, and therefore maybe a zar person who brings a korban, it will not in fact be pasul. Says the Gemara, tamei yochiach. Tamei will be yochiach, because we know that if a tamei brings a korban, it was chilel. It doesn't work. And tamei is not in the category where a korban can become tamei. A korban cannot become tamei while it's chai, Rashi says, while it's alive. So since you have a proof, again, that's how tzad hashav shebehen works. Since you have a proof that just because something is asabo karav kemakriv, you have another case where it wasn't asabo karav kemakriv, and you still see that it's still avad chilel. Therefore, you can say by zar as well. Mala tamei shekei tamei, but tamei is also not a good proof, because a tamei maybe it's more machmir, because a tamei is metame other things. If you have a tamei person, it could be metame other things, as opposed to a zar. You don't touch a kohen and now he becomes a zar. A Baal Mum doesn't touch somebody and they become a Baal Mum. Baal Mum yochiach. A Baal Mum will be yochiach that a Baal Mum is not metame, nevertheless it's avad chilel. Chazodin lo rizek rizev lo rizek rizeh. Tzad shavush ben shem muzaron v'im avdo chilelo afani avizar shu mutzar v'im avad chilel. Therefore, I'll bring the tzad shavush ben that they're all warned, and just like those that are warned, i.e., a Baal Mum and a tamei which are warned, after they're warned, if they do the avoda, they're chilel. So too, I'm going to bring a zar where if he's warned, if he actually does the avoda, he's going to be chilel. Again, just to be clear, it's very important because the whole day is tzad hashav shebehen. The way tzad hashav shebehen works, so you have a kal v'chomer that you try to bring. Try to bring from a kal to a chomer. Here we try to bring from Baal Mum, kal v'chomer, therefore for sure by zar. Can't compare it to Baal Mum, can't bring anything from Baal Mum because there's a chumrah by Baal Mum itself, and maybe that's why avad chilel. Don't say there's a chumrah by Baal Mum and that's why avad chilel, because we see another case where the given is avad chilel and it doesn't have that chumrah of Baal Mum. I don't bring a comparison to that case of tamei because that case is also chamor, but we see from Baal Mum that it doesn't have the chumrah of tamei because it's not metame other things, and nevertheless it is avad chilel. So basically, it's tzad hashav sheben works. You can't have any kal v'chomer just from one thing, but if you combine two things, then each one has a chumrah, you're right, so maybe you shouldn't be able to compare it to it, but each one has a kal because it doesn't necessarily have the chumrah of the other thing. So tamei has a chumrah that it's metame other things. Baal Mum has a chumrah that it's like a korban itself, that a korban itself could be a mum, or could be possible because of a mum. But nevertheless, we know the given is that the halacha is that a Baal Mum and a tamei avad chilel. Since we know that the halacha is avad chilel, even though it doesn't necessarily have such a thing as a korban that's tamei. You know avad chilel, even though there is such a thing that the tamei that touches somebody is metame, even though Baal Mum doesn't have that. Therefore, if you take both of them together, now you can learn from both of them together and say a zar as well will also be avad chilel. Because where? What's the common denominator? That means it has to have a common denominator. What's the common denominator between them? Those two, the Baal Mum and the tamei, have an ashara in the Torah that a person who is tamei, a person who is a Baal Mum, should not do the avoda. And therefore we see once it has the ashara, what's the consequence of the ashara? Not just that they shouldn't do it, but if they do it, it'll be good. They shouldn't do it, and if they do it, it won't work. So too, when it says by a zar that he shouldn't do it, the consequence will be that if he does it, it will not work. That's how tzad hashav shebehen works, and that's going to be the entire day. But again, you start with a kal v'chomer, and tzad hashav shebehen is a result when you can't make the kal v'chomer because the thing that you thought was kal has a tzad chumrah to it, and the reason you're able to make it tzad hashav is because you find another thing which is like the kal, which doesn't have that chumrah, and nevertheless has the same halacha. But the given has to be that you know already that a tumah and a Baal Mum are avad chilel. Says the Gemara.
Give me an example. Could be zar. Could be.
I'm learning two zar. What do you mean?
Who is a zar?
Zar is a person that's not a kohen. Zar is not a Kohen.
Come from outside to Israel.
Person, anybody from Bnei Israel. Anybody who's not a Kohen who tries to do the avoda. Like when they call up a Kohen in shul, if they say, anybody a Kohen. So we always trust the guy when he says, I'm a Kohen. We don't know if he's a Zar. So if he's not a Kohen, he can't get the Aliyah. He can't get the first Aliyah. So Zar is anybody who's not a Kohen. So anybody who's not a Kohen can eat the kachei kachim. He can eat certain korbanos. He can't eat the kachei kachim. Therefore, he can't do the avoda either. And if he does the avoda, it's going to be a problem. Again, we brought yesterday, Daber al Aaron v'al banav lemor v'nazru mi kachei b'nei Yisrael. Separate yourself from the rest of the Jewish people. So now we're trying to learn a different sourse. Minala demusar. Where's the ashara that a zar can't go ahead and do the avod, and if he does the avod, it's going to be possible. Imi v'nazru chilu begufei ksivei. It can't be from the pasuk. For whatever reason, this mandamar doesn't like that pasuk. But it can't be from the pasuk v'nazru mi kachei b'nei Yisrael. Why? Because if you're using that pasuk, what do I need the whole kal v'chomer for? Now again, it's important. Rashi points out the reason that pasuk works according to the mandamar is because it doesn't just say v'nazru mikachei b'nei Yisrael. It has the word chilel in there. The pasuk says v'nazru mikachei b'nei Yisrael v'lo yechalelu. We're looking for psukim according to those mandamars that have the word that you should separate and v'lo yechalelu. So v'lo yechalelu means that you shouldn't just separate. If you do the avoda, you will be mechalel. So this pasuk over here by Zar says v'lo yechalu. So if this mandamar is making the kal v'chomer learns from that pasuk, it can't be. Can't learn from that pasuk, because if he learned from that pasuk, you wouldn't have to go through whole kal v'chomer. So he must learn an ashara from another pasuk, which warns a Zar not to be a person that does the avoda, but a pasuk that doesn't say the word chilel in it. Therefore, you have the source. You're sort of like halfway there, where you have the ashara, but you don't have the fact that if he does do it, he's going to ruin it. Therefore, you have the asara. Then, with the asara, you can say, well, there's also an asara by Tumah. There's also an asara by Balmum. They were all warned. And just like by Tumah and by Balmum, we see that if they do the avodah, they were chilo from other sources. So, too, we can say that over here, even though, according to this man number, he's not using a mefurish pasuk that says, v'lo yechalilu, he has the asara. So, too, once you have an asara, by definition, it means that if they do the avodah, it will be possible. Zak the Gemara.
Zar could make shchita. Yeah.
Correct. Okay. Correct.
But he could not in other way.
We're not talking about the first four words over here are kol azvachim shekiblu daman. The beginning of the parak is that they were makabel the dam, or the other avodas, let's say, of the zrika. So those they can't do. You're right. Shchita he could do, but the kabbalah he can't do. So we're talking about how do you know that it's possible for that. So it says a Gemara, Minalan de Musar, Imi vinazru chilu begufei ksiv, you don't need the kavachomer. Ella mi vizar lo yikrav alechem. A zar can't go ahead and do the avoda. Now a zar can't do the avoda. That doesn't say that if he does it, he ruins it. How do you know that if he does it, he ruins it? Tzala shava shaban from a balmum and tameh. Says the Gemara, Ikal lemifrach. You could still ask a question. Now that you've established that we're learning a zar from a balmum and a tameh. But you still have a problem because maybe the reason that a balmum, or we should say that there's a chumrah by balmum and tumah that doesn't exist by zar. There's a chumrah by tumah and balmum that even when they have bamas outside of the Beis Hamikdash, a tummy person cannot bring a korban on a bama. A balmum cannot bring a korban on a bama. Says Rashi, a zar can bring a korban on a bama. So maybe just like a zar can bring a korban on a bama, maybe, therefore, a zar who does the avoda in the Beis Hamikdash or in the Mishkan will not be chilel. Again, it's not a shava shaben only works if they're all on equal planes. But if you find me a chumrah in the cases you're trying to learn from, i.e. from Tumah and from Balmum, if there's a chumrah there, i.e. that they can't bring on a bama, then maybe that explains why if they do the avoda in the Mikdash, it'll be chilel. But maybe a zar, even though, yes, he's muzar like them, but he also has a kal to his name. Because if he brings it on a bama, it does work. So maybe by a zar, you cannot say tzala shava shaban. They're not really equal. Those are more machmir. Maybe those are therefore aval chilel. But maybe the zar who's allowed to bring on a bama, if he actually does the avoda in the mikdash, he's not supposed to, but if he does, maybe it'll be okay. Says the Gemara, no. Lo tema tame yochiach. Ela ema onein yochiach. You're right. So we go ahead and we get rid of Tamei Yochiach and we have Onein Yochiach. That means now we're going to learn from a Balmum and an Onein. Again, we want to learn a Zar from a Balmum, just like a Balmum can eat, and if he does the Avoda, it's Tamei. So a Zar who can eat, for sure, if he does the Avoda, it's going to be Chilal. Says Gemara, Mal Balmum Shkenasa Move Kirkum Krav Kimagam. How can you compare to a Balmum? Not Tame Yochiach, Onein Yochiach. There's no such thing as an Onein animal, and nevertheless we know an Onein who does the avoda will be the avoda will not work. Says the Gemara, how can you compare it to an onain? Mala onain shekain aser b'maiser, but onain has a chumrah that an onain, a person between the death and the burial of a relative, cannot eat maiser. Balmum yochiach v'chazvedin lo yizek rizeh atzad shoshen shemusarin hachanami lifroch mal atzad shoshen shekain lo hutru b'bama. Why did we bring in onain in the first place? Onain we brought in the first place because we had this problem that if you just have balmum and a tamei, those two things are aser b'bama. Then maybe a zar who's mutter b'bama will not have the same halachas, and if he's avad in the Beis Hamikdash, it will not be chilo. So how does onain solve the problem? Says the Gemara, because we're going to see in a second that there's actually a halacha that an onain can bring on the bama. So once an onain can bring on the bama, now you got rid of the problem that a zar is the only one that's allowed to bring on the bama. If you see that an onain is also allowed to bring on a bama, and nevertheless an onain who brings in the Beis Hamikdash will be chilel, therefore the tzad shebehen between balmum, onain, and zar, we can learn from balmum and onain, not from balmum and tamei, because again, those have a chumrah that they can't bring on a bama. But if you learn from a balmum and an onain who can bring on a bama, and nevertheless his avoda is going to be possible, from a balmum and an onain, you can learn to a zar. Maskler or summer bredi rava uman leimalan de onain aser bebama. You're asking a kasha that an onain is aser b'bama. Dilma shari b'bama. Maybe he's shari b'bama like I'm suggesting. And therefore, if an onain is shari b'bama, then you have no proof that a zar should be more mekel because he's the only one that's not going to be, he's the only one that's not going to be a problem on a bama. You see that an onain maybe can also bring on a bama. If an onain can bring on a bama, then you're good to go. And between onain and balmum, you can go ahead and you can make the tzad hashava shebehen. That again, an onain and a balmum. Go ahead and they're a balmum's allowed to ochel. The tzad hashava between an onain and a balmum is that they're musar not to do the avoda, and if they do the avoda, then they're going to be ruining the avoda. So to a zar who's warned not to do the avoda, if he does the avoda, he's going to be apostling the avoda. How can you bring this is machmir. There is no case where specifically by a zar it's going to be more mekel to say that it should be more mekel than the other ones. Because if you say a zar is more mekel that it brings on a bama, well, an onain also can bring on a bama. If you say that a zar is more mekel because it's not asabo krav kimakriv like a balmum, well, the other one also. You see that the onain also has that, and the onain still avad will be chilal. So it comes out again that between those three you can learn. Rav Misharsher Mar, another case. Asya kavachomer miyoshev, a new kavachomer. I'll bring you a kavachomer that a zar who does the avodah is chilal from a person who sits down. Ma yoshev she'ochel imavad chilal yoshev, a person who's sitting down, a kohen who's sitting down, he's still allowed to eat. Right? Your mother always says, don't eat standing. So a kohen who's sitting down, he's allowed to eat the korbanos. And nevertheless, if a kohen who's sitting down does this avoda of Kabbalah, he ruins it. So zar she'eno ochel, a zar who can eat certain kachim, eino din she'im avad chila, for sure if the zar does the avoda, he's going to ruin it. Just like the guy who sits down is ruining it. Mal yoshev she'kem pasal edus. No, maybe the reason that a yoshev ruins it is because he's pasal edus. A zar is not pasal edus. A yoshev has a chumrah that he's pasal edus. Mi yoshev talmud chacham. You're right. A regular yoshev is pasal edus. A yoshev talmud chacham, because of the honor for a talmud chacham, he's actually allowed to sit down. So yoshev talmud chacham is allowed to sit down. He's not pasal edus. Nevertheless, and he's allowed to eat if he's a kohen. Nevertheless, if he does the avoda, then it's going to be im avad chilel. If he's yoshev, even if he's a talmud chacham kohen, if he's sitting down when he does the avoda, he's going to ruin it. So to a zar who's sitting down, a zar who does the avoda will be chilel. Ma l'shem yoshev shekem pasal edus. Very nice. You found me a very specific case of a yoshev talmud chacham. But let's be honest here. We're talking about the general category of yoshev. The general category of yoshev. You go ahead and you say that the general category of yoshev is a kal v'chomer. So you learn from the general category of yoshev, just like a yoshev can eat, and nevertheless he ruins the avoda if he does a biyoshev. So a zar who can eat, a zar who does the avoda, will definitely ruin it. How can you compare it to the general category of yoshev, who's pasal edus? Maybe dafka by the general category of yoshev, which is pasal edus, he will ruin it if he does the avoda. But a zar who does the avoda will not ruin it. So you don't have a good kal v'chomer. Says the Gemara, Shem Yoshev lo parach. No, I still have the case of the Yoshev Talmud Chacham. And the Yoshev Talmud Chacham will show me that I have a good Kal V'chomer. And don't tell me it's not a general. I don't care. All I need is one case where I can show you and make a Kal V'chomer from. V'imtim Salomar Parech. And if you say that no, you don't want to make it from such a specific case of the Yoshev Talmud Chacham, Asya mi Yoshev u'mechada mehanach. So then you're right. You can't make the Kal V'chomer just from a Yoshev. Let's assume we want to use the general category of Yoshev. We don't want to go to the specific category of a Talmud Chacham Yoshev. So you use a regular Yoshev. Well, you can't make a Kal V'chomer from a Yoshev because maybe a Yoshev Avad is Chilel specifically because what? Because it's Pasol Avoda. So what do we say? Well, if you take a Yoshev and one of the other things, Yoshev and Onain, Yoshev and Tameh, Yoshev and Balmum, where they don't have this problem of Pasol Eidos. A Tameh is not Pasol Eidos. A Balmum is not Pasol Eidos. In this case now, again, a Yoshev is going to be Pasol Eidos. So even though a Yoshev is Pasol Eidos, if you bring in a Balmum or a Tameh who are not Pasol Eidos, now between the two of them, of a Yoshev with a Balmum or a Yoshev with a Tameh, now I can learn to a Zar. Says the Gemara, V'Yoshev de Kosher b'Bama minalan. But now we still have a problem. Because if I learn from a Yoshev and a Tameh, then they're both Pasol Bibama. A Zar is Kosher Bibama. If I learn from a Yoshev and a Balmum, then they're both Pasol Bibama. That doesn't help me. I need to find a case where the guy is Kosher Bibama, just like a Zar, or else I can say that a Zar is not going to be Avad V'chila because he's Kosher Bibama. So I need to have at least one guy who's Kosher Bibama. So before we did it with the Onain. As long as you have the Onain with somebody else, you've covered all your bases. So how do you go ahead and cover all your bases when you have a Yoshev? Says the Gemara, Yoshev seemingly is still Pasol to bring on a Bama. Says the Gemara, no. A Yoshev is Kosher to bring on a Bama. Says the Gemara, where do you see a Yoshev is Kosher to bring on a Bama? Amar Kral, Lamod Lifnei Hashem L'Sharso. Because it says you have to stand in front of Hashem to bring and to serve Him. That's only in the Beis HaMikdash. Lifnei Hashem. Only when you're Lifnei Hashem in the Beis HaMikdash do you need to be Lamod. V'lo Lifnei Bama. So again, if you want to step back and just remember everything, the bottom line is, how do you know that a Zar who does the Avoda is Chilel? You use a Tzad HaShav Shebehen. That Tzad HaShav Shebehen can include Balmum, Tameh, Onain, Yoshev. It needs to include at least one of Yoshev or Onain. Because again, if it only includes Tameh and Balmum, you can say, well, I don't want to hear anything you're talking about. A Zar is more makel than those two, because a Zar can go and bring on a Bama. Therefore, since it can bring on a Bama, one can learn by definition that if it does the Avodah in the Beis HaMikdash, it will not be Chilo. Therefore, you need to have at least, you can't just have Tameh and Balmum. But if you take either Onain and or Yoshev, with something else, or the two of them together, but with something else, then you cover all your bases. Because then, even though each one has a chumrah, at the end of the day, one of them can go ahead and really both of them, but either an Onain or a Yoshev can bring on a Bama. Therefore, you don't have that problem with Zar. And therefore, if you do that with Tameh, that with Balmum, or those two with each other, then you cover all your bases. You have a Tzad HaShav that they're all Musar, and we know the given is that they're all going to be Avad Chilal. So to a Zar who's Avad is Chilal. Good? Who said Zvachim's hard? Says the Gemara, Onain, Minalan. How do you know that an Onain is going to ruin the Avoda? Says the Gemara, what we're going to see in a second, Minalan, Dechsiv, Umin HaMikdash lo yetzei, velo yechalel. You don't go out of the Mikdash, and you're not yechalel. This week's Parsha. DAF YOMI is always around, right? There's always Siyata D'Shmaya. So what does it say? When Aaron's son dies, so when Nadav and Avihu died, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Umin HaMikdash lo yetzei. You don't go out of the Mikdash. Why not? Because you're the Kohen Gadol. What does that imply? You, the Kohen Gadol, who's an Onain between the death and the burial of your sons, you don't go out of the Mishkan. But a regular Kohen who's an Onain will go out of the Mishkan. And that shows that an Onain who does it will passel the Avoda. Rabbi Elazar Amar Mehacha, Hein hikrivu ani hikrafti, Miklal di'ihinu akriv shaper itztarof. There's a whole long Rashi Tosfos on this page and on the next page. So we're not going to get too much into it, but the bottom line is that there was a discussion between Moshe and Aaron. There was, on the first day, the chatas was burned. And Moshe was trying to figure out why the chatas was burned. Why did the chatas have to be burned? The chatas is not usually burned. So Moshe assumed, he went over to Aaron and assumed, the reason that the chatas was burned was because your other two sons, Elazar and Itamar, who were be'aninus, they brought the korban. It was asur for them to bring it. and therefore the korban was burnt. Says Aaron back to Moshe, no, they didn't bring it, I brought it. Why was a korban burnt? We'll see in just a second. A different reason. But this whole conversation implies that had Elazar and Itamar brought the korban, then it would have had to be burned for that reason. Why would it have to be burned for that reason? Because they were in aninus. And if an onain brings a korban, if he does the avoda, then he ruins it. So you have two possible sources why an onain or how an onain ruins it. Either because HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells Dafka, Aaron, you do the avoda be'aninus, but not a regular Kohen, only the Kohen Gadol. Or because we see that Moshe and Aaron had this whole conversation, and it came out from the conversation that had Elazar and Itamar done the avoda that day, they would have had to burn it. They ended up burning the chatas anyway, but for a different reason, as we'll see in a second, because this chatas, particular chatas, became tameh. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Lazar, my time lo amar mi umini midash lo yitzei, amelcha miksiv ha'achar shlo yatsa chilo. Fascinating. This is a fascinating diuk. That means the guy's making a diuk that says, not a guy, I'm sorry. The Tanakam is making a diuk and says, Umin HaMikdash lo yetzei. Hashem says to Aaron HaKohen, you don't go out of the Mikdash, which implies that what? Anybody else who's in Aninus would need to go out of the Mikdash. Says Rebbe Lezer, what are you talking about? That's not a good diuk. Maybe HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying to Aaron, you go out of the Mikdash, every other onain doesn't have to go out of the Mikdash. But you, who's a Kohen Gadol, you might think you have to go out of the Mikdash. Umina Mikdash lo yetzei. Right? You understand the difference in the diuk? The original diuk was Umina Mikdash lo yetzei. Aaron, you don't go out. Everyone else goes out. No, maybe it's Aaron, even you don't have to go out. Why would you say even you don't have to go out? Because one might have thought that the Kohen Gadol would have to go out specifically. Everyone else knew. They're not as holy as a Kohen Gadol. But the Kohen Gadol, who's an onain, he would have to go out. Says Hashem, even you don't have to go out. But also the other Kohanim don't have to go out. Don't make the diuk that you don't have to go out, but all the other Kohanim have to go out. Maybe it's not you don't have to go out, but they have to go out. Maybe it's even you don't have to go out, and for sure they don't have to go out. So therefore you can learn from there that if anybody else, if any of the other Kohanim are onains, they're going to ruin the avoda. V'idach my time lo amar meheni krivu. Why doesn't the other opinion the Tanakama learn from v'iheni krivu? Kesaber b'nei tuma nisrafa. You can't make any discussions, you can't make any diukim from the discussion of Moshe and Aaron. At the end of the day, they burnt the chatas because it had become tameh, but you can't make any implications or any diukim that had Nadav, that had Elazar and Itamar brought it would have been burnt. It was dafka burnt because it got tameh, and maybe if Elazar and Itamar would have brought it, even though they weren't supposed to bring it as an onain, maybe Einachanami, they would not have ruined it. So each one has their own source. But again, each one rejects the other, but at the end of the day, you have one source that says, we know that an onain is possible to do the avodah, and if he does it, he ruins it, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to Aaron, you don't go out, everyone else needs to go out. According to the other opinion, it was because, you see from the discussion of Moshe and Aaron, their conversation, that it was only because Aaron brought the korban that it was that it wasn't a problem until it became tameh, as opposed to if Elazar and Itamar would have brought it, it would have been a problem right away because they were be'aninus. Says the Gemara, the Rabbi Yishmael gives a third possibility. Tana, Asya b'kal v'chomer mi Baal Mum. Now we're going to go through the whole thing with Baal Mum again. Uma Baal Mum she'ochel ima v'chila. The Baal Mum who can eat, if he does the avodah, he ruins it. Onein she'ein ochel. We know that an onein, as opposed to a Baal Mum, an onein cannot eat from a korban. Onein she'ein ochel, even the Kohen Gadol who's allowed to bring it be'aninus. But another Kohen who doesn't even bring the, right, he can't bring the korban, but even if he doesn't bring it, he can't eat it. Onein she'ein ochel, eino din she'ima v'chila. So for sure, if he can't even eat, like a Baal Mum who can eat, and nevertheless the Baal Mum ruins the avodah, so for sure an onein who can eat will ruin the avodah. Mal Baal Mum shekinatzabo kreven kemakriv. You can't compare a Baal Mum, because a Baal Mum is more machmer, because again, the Baal Mum, not only the person bringing it, but the korban itself becomes a Baal Mum zar yochiach, where you see that the korban cannot become a zar. Mal azar shekein lo takana. What are you bringing in a zar? You can't bring in a zar. A zar has no takana. You can't become a Kohen. Again, when they say, is there a Kohen in the house? You can't just say, yes, I'm a Kohen. Well, in this place you can. But in general, you can't just say, yes, I'm a Kohen. If people don't know you, in this place, I'm saying, so then, Lamaise, if they don't know you, then they can go ahead and they can say, in this place. If this place is so big, so if somebody says, yeah, I'm a Kohen, nobody knows. But in general, you can't just go ahead and say, yes, I'm a Kohen. So zar eino din, mazar ein lo takana. So how can you compare it to a zar which has no takana? Since it has no takana, maybe that's why avar chilo. Says the Gemara, Baal Mum yochiach. No, a Baal Mum will prove, because a Baal Mum has a takana. How does it have a takana? When the mum goes away. So too he has a takana, nevertheless you see that he's still avar chilo. So too between Baal Mum and zar, you're good to go. Says the Gemara, "V'chazadin lo yizak yezer v'lo yizak yezer yizeh." Tzad hasheva sheben shehin muzharin v'imav duchilalu afani avionin shemuzar v'imav al chilal. So again, now we're bringing an onain. It's interesting because we brought in the onain over there in order to establish a zar. But now we're bringing the onain and we're saying that at the end of the day, between a baal mum and a zar, you can learn an onain. Because a baal mum and a zar each have chumras that the other one doesn't have, but each of the other ones disproves the chumras. Between a baal mum and a zar, a baal mum has a chumrah that he himself becomes a baal mum, so does the korban. A zar has a chumrah that there's no takana. But since a baal mum has a takana, and since a korban does not become a zar, so they each wipe each other out. Therefore, between the baal mum and the zar, who are both mushar, not to bring and not to do the avodah, and if they do the avodah, they're chilal, so too you can learn to an onain that if he does the avodah, he will be chilal. The only question is, where is an onain mushar, not to do the avodah? Says the Gemara, Hechan Musar, Elima mi umin hamikdash lo yetzeh. If you say he's musar from umin hamikdash lo yetzeh v'lo yichalel, then what do I need the whole kal v'chomer and tzad hashaveh for? I could just learn it straight from that pasuk, like Daman Diamar does. Chilo b'guf eksibe. Ella, there must be another pasuk which doesn't say the word chilel, warns that an onain cannot do the avodah, and from the tzad hashoshen we'll learn that not only is he warned he can't do the avodah, if he does the avodah, he ruins it in its pasuk. Mehain hikrivu. They brought it again with Aaron, the whole discussion Aaron and Moshe, which implies that, according to this, implies that it's pasul asur for the onain to do it, but the difference is that from Heini Krivu, that Man Diamar said from Heini Krivu itself, you can learn that what? You can learn that if he does the avodah, it's aser. This Man Diamar says you can't learn from there. It doesn't say the word yechalel there. So for Heini Krivu, we can learn from their conversation that there's a warning for a onain to not do the avodah, but since it doesn't say the word yechalel in that pasuk, you can learn that if he does the avodah, he's chilel. That's the machlokas between this mandamer and that mandamer. I could use it as a source. I could use it like to get me halfway, that the zar shouldn't do the avodah from Hein Hikrivu. But since it doesn't say the word chilel, it doesn't say the word chilel, I don't agree with you, the other mandamer, that says you can learn the entire thing from that pasuk. Because again, there was a mandamer that said you can learn the entire thing from that pasuk, that even if he does the avodah, he's going to be chilel. He says, I can use that pasuk to get started, but I still need the tzad hashava shebehen to get finished. Says the Gemara, so now we have a little bit of problem. Now we're learning a tzad hashava again, between what? Between baal mum and zar to onain. The problem is, how can you compare a baal mum and a zar to an onain when an onain is lo hutra miklalo? There's no exceptions. What does that mean? Rashi, right to the left, lo hutra miklalan. You're learning from a zar u baal mum to an onain again. Zar u baal mum, maybe a zar and a baal mum are more machmir, and that's why avad is chila, because a zar and baal mum have no hutra, there are no exceptions, miklal isuran, shenesar b'mikdash. Lo hutru eitzel shum korban velo eitzel shum adam, tomar be'onein shehutra miklalo eitzel kohen gadol. Maybe the reason that a zar or a baal mum who does the avodah is chilel, maybe enachanami, they were mutzar, but maybe they're chilel because they're more machmir. We see that there are no exceptions. There are no zars who can go ahead and do the avodah. There are no baal mums who can go ahead and do the avodah. Talk about the Kabbalah over here, or the Zrika, etc. There is an exception to the case of onain. That means enachanami. We have an ashara that a regular onain can't do the avodah. We know that, again, a Kohen Gadol who's an onain, as we're seeing, that's the exception. Kohen Gadol who's an onain can do the avodah. So enachanami, maybe a regular Kohen who's an onain can't do the avodah. But maybe we're not going to go so far as to say that if he does the avodah, he ruins it. Because we see that there's a certain kula by aninus where there's an exception to the general rule of an onain not doing the avodah. Who's that? The Kohen Gadol, who's an onain doing the avodah. So since there's an exception as opposed to zar and opposed to baal mum, once there's a kula by the overall case of aninus, so one can suggest that maybe we're going to be mekel by aninus as well, where even though a regular Kohen can't do the avodah by aninus, if he does the avodah by aninus, maybe it will not actually ruin it. And the whole proof here of the whole tzad hashava that you're trying to prove is that a regular onain will ruin the avodah. Says the Gemara, tamei yochiach. A tamei will get rid of this because there is an exception by tamei as well. Where's an exception by tamei as well? And nevertheless, you see that even with exceptions, it ruins the avodah. Rashi, tamei yochiach, shehutar miklalo eitzel korban tzibor. Again, we always say 5 points, or 2 points, or 3 points, or 1 point for the day. This is the point for the day. That a tamei who goes ahead and brings a korban sibor is allowed to bring a korban sibor. A tamei kohen is not allowed to bring a korban yachid. A tamei kohen is allowed to bring a korban sibor. That's the exception for the day. So that's the rule for the day that you want to remember. So at the end of the day, we said that onains have exceptions, so maybe onains are more mekel, tamei yochiach. Because if you learn from a Baal Mum and a Tamei, even though Baal Mum has no exceptions, Tamei has an exception. Because if you have a Tamei Kohen, he's actually allowed to do the Avoda for a Korban Sibor. So now between Baal Mum and Tamei, I can learn to Onain. Onain you can't learn to because Onain is more Mekil because it has an exception. Tamei also has an exception, Yochiach. And even though Tamei has an exception, we see clearly that if a Tamei goes ahead and does the Avoda, he's going to ruin it in general.
Gives a new meaning to Tamei Hutra B'tzibur.
Correct. I thought about that also. It's a new meaning of Tumah Hutra B'tzibur. That Tumah literally is Hutra B'tzibur. If you have a Korban Sibor, then you could have a Tamei Kohen. I thought of that exactly. Tumah Hutra B'tzibur. Correct. Says the Gemara. See, if you walk away with just that thing.
Anytime?
So again, I don't know the exact details, but it sounds like there are certain, definitely Korban Sibors. I don't know if it's any time, but it sounds like from Rashi that in general, a Korban Sibor can be brought by a Tamei Kohen. So says the Gemara.
All korbanos or just Pesach?
Again, it sounds like all korbanos. You can't, bringing from Tumah is not a problem because a Balmum will prove that it's not a din in being Metame other things. That they're all Musar, just like a Tamei and a Balmum are Huzar, so too an Onain, which is Huzar, so an Onain, if he brings it, will ruin it. Says the Gemara, wait, but there's actually a case. Yes, I understand that Tamei has cases b'tzibor, but it's actually a case by Aninus, as we see, that it's not just by a korban tzibor. The Kohen Gadol himself, by a Kohen Gadol, by a korban yachid, is an exception. So maybe you would say that since Kohen Gadols are exceptions, even by a Yachid, you see how Mekil the case of Aninus is, therefore Aninus should not ruin it. Says the Gemara, no, Shem Tuma Mia Ishtari. No, we want to bring from a general case of Tuma. We don't want to bring from a very specific case. Shem Tuma Mia Ishtari, Rashi, Kigon B'tzibor. The fact that Tuma is Hutra B'tzibor, that's enough to say that it's Hutra. It doesn't have to be specifically Hutra B'yachid. Don't tell me that Aninus is so much more Mekel because it's Hutra B'yachid. No. The fact that it's Hutra ever, the fact that Tamei is Hutra, even though it's a Tzibor case that it's Hutra, that's enough to say that it's similar to Aninus, and if it's similar to Aninus, you can't say that Aninus gets pulled out of the crowd. Rav Misharsha Amar, so now Misharsha gives another answer. So again, we learned over here, we're trying to figure out that an Onain will be pasul. An Onain is pasul, a regular Onain is pasul, that if he does Avodah, he ruins it, either from Min Amigdash Lo Yetzei, or from Hein Hikrivu, the discussion of Moshe and Aaron, or you see from Etzad HaShavah Shebehen, between Balmum and Tumah. From Balmum and Tumah, you can learn to Aninus. Rav Misharshi Omer, you can also learn from a Balmum and, or something else, and a Miyushav. Asya bekava chomer miyoshev. Ma yoshev she'ochel im avad chila onein she'eno ochel and din she'im avad chila. Ma li yoshev she'kein pasol eidos miyoshev tamid chacham. Ma li she'im yoshev she'kein pasol eidos. She'im yoshev lo parach v'im timtzeh lo parach. Asya miyoshev mechad mehanach. Again, you can learn either from a yoshev tamid chacham, or you can learn from a yoshev and one of the irregular yoshev and one of the other things. You can learn, and lemaisa you can make the kava chomer as well. So again, you have now the Tzad HaShavah Shebehen that you can learn from a Balmum and a Zar. You can learn from, you bring in Tamei over there. You can learn from a Balmum, a Zar, a Yoshev. You bring them in, but between all of them, the Tzad HaShavah is you're able to learn to an Onain as well. Onain Pasol, Amar Rava. Now we're going to have an interesting discussion. Listen to this. Lo Shanu Ela B'Korban Yachid. When we talk about an Onain being pasol, that's dafka by a korban yachid, and this is how we learn. It's dafka by a korban yachid. Aval b'korban tzibor miratze kal v'chomer mituma. So Gemara now wants to make a kal v'chomer, and it's basically going to reject this kal v'chomer because it's going to say if you make this kal v'chomer, I can make a million other kal v'chomers. Therefore, the Gemara is going to say, right? The Gemara is going to question the fact that we're starting at a certain point. Gemara, like all these discussions, assume that you're starting at a certain point. Now the Gemara is going to challenge, well, why are you starting at that certain point? Maybe everything should be rejected by a kal v'chomer to something else. What's an example? Lo shanu ela b'korban yachid. Maybe an onein is pasul only by a korban yachid aval b'korban tzibor miratza kal v'chomer mituma. Maybe one should say that if a regular kohen, again, not a kohen gadol, if a regular kohen does a korban tzibor, it should work. Kal v'chomer mituma. What would the kal v'chomer be? Ma tuma shelo hutra miklala eitzel kohen gadol b'korban yachid, hutra eitzel hedyo b'korban tzibor. Tuma, we know, in general, is more machmir than anidus, because tuma, what? Tuma, there's no exceptions by a kohen gadol b'korban yachid. That means even a kohen gadol, if he's tameh as opposed to aninus, he's going to ruin it. So a kohen gadol is going to ruin it if he's tameh, and nevertheless we know that tuma is allowed b'tzibor. So aninus shehutra miklala it's a kohen gadol b'korban yachid. Aninus, which is more mekil, where a kohen gadol who's an onein can actually go ahead and bring the korban, as opposed to a kohen gadol whose tameh cannot bring the korban. So if a tameh kohen gadol cannot bring the korban, and nevertheless a regular tameh kohen can bring a korban tzibor, for sure, eino din shehutra eitzel kohen edo b'korban tzibor. So we're challenging the whole assumption that we had until now. If you want to start throwing around kal v'chomers, so I'll make a kal v'chomer that a regular kohen who's an onein, while he can't bring a korban yachid, should be able to serve the korban tzibor. Because if a tameh kohen can bring a korban tzibor, even though a tameh kohen gadol cannot bring a korban yachid, then for sure an onein kohen should be able to bring a korban tzibor, because an onein kohen gadol can bring a korban yachid. Says Gemara, Maskala Rava Bar Ilah, if you start throwing out kal v'chomers, then I'm going to challenge your kal v'chomer as well. Lo tuter aninus eitzel kohen gadol b'korban yachid mi kal v'chomer. Maybe we should argue that Einachanami, a kohen gadol who is a onein, cannot actually bring a korban yachid, like we're assuming. Why would they have a kal v'chomer? Umatuma shehutra eitzel kohen hedyo b'tzibor. Again, the Gemara is basically saying, don't make this assumption. Start with this assumption. If you start with this assumption, then you ruin all your kal v'chomers. Why? Umatuma shehutra eitzel kohen hedyo b'tzibor. We know that a regular kohen whose tameh can bring a korban tzibor. Nevertheless, going the other way, lehutra eitzel kohen gadol b'korban yachid. Nevertheless, tuma, we know what tuma is more machmir. That means that tuma is mutter b'tzibor for a regular kohen, and nevertheless tuma is not mutter for the kohen gadol b'yachid. So aninus, which is not mutter b'tzibor, if you're going to assume that that's the assumption, aninus shelo hutra eitzel kohen hedyo b'korban tzibor, eino din shelo tuter eitzel kohen gadol b'korban yachid. If you have tuma which works in public for a regular kohen but doesn't work in private for the kohen gadol, then aninus, which doesn't work in public for a kohen, definitely shouldn't work in private for the kohen gadol. That's if you make that assumption. Now you're stuck. V'tutar tuma eitzel kohen gadol b'korban yachid mikal v'chomer. And I could also reject tuma by a kohen gadol b'korban yachid. That what? Uma aninus, if you take it for granted, uma aninus shelo hutar eitzel kohen hedyo b'korban tzibor. If you assume that a regular kohen, like we were assuming, cannot bring a korban tzibor ba'aninus, and nevertheless a kohen gadol hutar eitzel kohen gadol b'korban yachid. So again, a regular kohen, even b'tzibor and kal v'chomer b'yachid, a regular kohen can never bring ba'aninus, and nevertheless a kohen gadol can bring ba'aninus b'yachid, and seemingly kal v'chomer b'tzibor. So a regular kohen who can't bring ba'aninus, nevertheless a kohen gadol can bring ba'aninus. Hutra eitzel kohen gadol b'korban yachid. Tuma shehutra eitzel kohen hedyo b'korban tzibor. Would you have tuma that a regular kohen can go ahead and bring? So then for sure a tomei kohen gadol should be able to bring. Eino din shehutra eitzel kohen gadol b'korban yachid. Why are you assuming the whole time that a kohen gadol can't bring when he's tamei? If you start using kal v'chomers, you should have learned that a kohen gadol who's tamei can bring a korban. But you could also do the following. If you take it for granted that an aninus shehutra eitzel kohen gadol b'korban yachid, lo hutra eitzel kohen hedyo b'korban tzibor, or you could say the following, that aninus has this issue. Because aninus, even though it's going to allow a kohen gadol to bring, even ba'aninus, a regular kohen can never bring ba'aninus. So tuma, which a kohen gadol cannot bring, so then for sure a regular kohen cannot bring b'tuma, even b'tzibor. Tuma shelo hutra eitzel kohen gadol b'korban yachid, eino din shelo tuter b'kohen hedyo b'korban tzibor. Therefore, says the Gemara on top of Yuzayin and Aleph, Ela Ika Lemifrach Hachi, V'Ika Lemifrach Hachi. You can bring all of these kal v'chomers and reject them. Kochad v'chad teiku b'dichtoi. Therefore, don't bring any of them and leave all of them in their place and stay with the assumptions that we've made until now.